All right, good evening, everyone. Today is the 22nd. Sorry I didn't get the email out, so if you're missing this, we're recording it. I think last Monday we were talking about doing some knots, and I have some material to do it, but I realized that I left a lot of my gear in Lebanon, and that has my nail knot tool. So I will be skipping that. We'll be doing that another day. The good news is we've got a lot of people here, so we will probably have a couple people jump in and discuss some of their favorite knots as well. And we'll take that for a little bit, and then once we say we're done with knots, we can kind of discuss on some things going on. There's a couple of fishing things coming up. I think we have the next one is at Merrimack Spring on June 3rd is veterans fish free at Merrimack. So fun park when they put in maybe more than 2 fish, but at least it makes it hard. I love the place. It's beautiful. Holy smokes, is it hard to catch there? And I can't remember last year sometime we all went out there. I think there were 7 of us, and Roger did the best by having a trout hooked on for 2 seconds. But outside of that, we were all, Sean Connery and,
Did you see how many they did for the kids?
yeah, they did over 1,000, so
2,300, they said.
how many?
2,300.
2,300. So good on them.
There's a kid that caught a 6-pound, 6-ounce.
Yeah, that big one that I kind of shared with you guys. So yeah, kid caught a 6.5 pounder or something like that. So good on him. They do put some big
Who
ones.
caught it?
A kid, a little guy.
Oh, kid.
I think I have it. Maybe I just went through all my photos and come on. Yeah, I think I dumped it already. But yeah, a little guy caught 6.5 pounder. It was nice. It was a big male too, so he had a nice hook jaw, real pretty colors. So that was good on him. We'll put more out for Veterans Day, fish free on the 3rd. Usually they don't match what Bennett does, but it's still a good day. I think a few years ago we had a really good day because they did put a lot of fish out there, and it was a June, so you're expecting, maybe not the best fishing weekend and all that. We did well, but I know there's been times as well that we went out there and we were a bunch of James Bonds out there with 007, 0 bites, 0 fish, 7 hours. So but we still had a good time. And so I always that's us, we have a good time, so I love Merrimack. I still love the looks of it. I think it's a very pretty park. And even if I'm not catching, I'm happy. So, but we'll get to the quick knots, and I don't even have like a fake arbor for a fly reel. So I'm going to use a blank that I have, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to change my camera over. And then hopefully you guys can see me. Maybe hopefully not. Spotlight for everyone. Okay, so there you are. So I don't have like a real spool for us. So I'm going to use just this blank to show you what I think is the easiest way to put backing to your rod. So this isn't backing, but it's good colored string, and even my backing here, actually I could use this. This is true backing, 20 pound, so I'll use that. Basically this is the easiest thing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so easy, where you take the end and you just put a granny knot in it, just an overhand loop, put a knot in it. If you're good enough, you could put a second one right on top of it. Hopefully you guys can see that. That's a good knot right there. I'm going to cut the excess off. Trying to do this here and make sure. So there's that knot end right there. And I'm just gonna loop it up. And I'm just gonna put another, like if you were gonna do like a half hitch. So you can kind of see that loop. Then there's the end with the knot. And so if you could do this, and hopefully you could see it, I'm kind of looking here too. You'd wrap it around twice like this. You feed that tag in, and now you kind of close up that loop. Hopefully you guys are seeing that. And now you could just kind of work and cinch it. If it will. No, it won't. It really got in tight. I don't want to pull hard on the blank, but there we go. Oh, sorry, it broke. Let me try that again.
Is that blank supposed to be the end of a hook?
That's supposed to be your reel spool. This is attaching, and I don't have an extra reel. And I might have messed that up. Hold on. So sorry. But again, yeah, I don't have an extra reel right now. So again, just putting a couple knots to make that knot end. It's funny, this has always worked for me, but now it's gonna prove me a liar since I'm on the camera. So again, I'll put just a loose. And then basically, if this was the spool of the reel, put that through. Hopefully you guys can see that. Cinch it. Yeah, this is really gripping harder than what I had before. Sorry, guys, this isn't, there we go. Maybe, no. I don't know what's going on, but usually it's just a quick cinch. The knot itself.
Yeah, it's that line, Mick. That
Yeah.
stuff.
It's called an
You're
arbor
used to
knot.
doing it with mono, and that stuff slides. It's the line that won't let you do that.
Yeah. Let me try it with this one. And my fingers aren't working. It's an arbor knot. I always thought it was pretty cool. I don't know why that's. If it was doing that, I would try something else. So the round twice through this loop. Hopefully this knot will be a little bit kinder to me. No, it's locking in. I might be doing something wrong because this is almost as good as a perfection loop. All right, let's go on. Sorry, guys. Not the way I wanted to do it.
That last knot has to be a slip knot, Mick, and I don't think you made it a slip knot.
Let's try it one more time. I just don't know what I'm. So I didn't get to practice this one, but this is what I always remember. Maybe.
How often do you put backing on your reel?
Once every time I buy a reel. Okay, yeah, so let's do that. That's, I thank you, John. I think that's it. So let me see. So I have the slip knot. Maybe. Yep. Do I have it the wrong way again? Yep. It worked when I did it without. And that's a good thing with the slip knot. So slip knot and then over. There it goes. That's, hopefully you saw that. So it was a slip knot. And by you just cinching this in, it will lock in. A little bit harder with that, but it is a slip knot you need on. But it cinches on, and you have that tag where it won't allow that knot to pass through, and it cinches in. So that's right.
What you make the slip knot is important too. You want the loose end to be the long end, not this tag end.
Yes. So that was that one. Now the next one is one of my, well, I can't do the nail knot, but let me do
Do the daisy knot.
the daisy will be soon, because that's going to be for the hook, and I'm making my way. Now, should you ever, this is the one that I like. This will be worth it. So all the others that don't have the knot tool and all that is your blood. Let me just make sure no one's trying to get in. Okay. So this is the one, if you always have to add tippet, that's always going to be a very difficult knot. Someone showed me this, wasn't my idea, but it's an easy way to do a blood knot. So you take your two ends, and all you do is a quick tie together like that. So you have that. You have that there. You'll want to loop it. So now you can kind of see I've got them both. So that's what it's looking. Now you take these two in the center, and you just start overlapping each other. You do it a few times, and it should kind of look like that if you could see it, where it's twisted on each end. You take this tag end, you put it through that loop you create, or that center loop you created, and now you just got to work it together. Cinches, but I wish it didn't try to cinch so close to that other knot. Let me try that again. I need to make sure it doesn't cinch on that knot.
I think that's basically the same way they tie on tandems too.
Yeah. It just makes it a little bit easier than, because this part, when I was trying to do it before, trying to get both through, but if they're knotted together, that makes it real easy to prevent this from coming together. If this was line, you could kind of lick it. There, you just kind of cinch it in. And there's your bloodline, but much easier by having that tie off.
Then you cut off the two ends.
You cut the two ends off right at the base.
And I can even tie that knot now when it's 30 degrees outside and I'm waist deep in water.
And there it is. So that's the easiest way to do a blood. And if you go by the book, each tag should come out either way, but the way this locks in, you're fine.
Very
So
nice.
That
And
one
that's
is
for adding tippet, Mick?
what's that?
That's for adding tippet.
Edit tippet. I'm just using these two colored lines so you could
Right.
see it, but that's the easiest way to do it. And I did tippet last time I was at Bennett because my indicator got all cut up, and so I had extra line, and I just kind of cut it off and then retied the rig on. And I probably went another 10 fish and had no issues, and then knot was still there, but I was done fishing. So that's the easy way of doing that. Hopefully, out of all the knots, that one will show you as the easiest way.
That's a good one to sit on your Euro leaders if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and that's I was talking to some friends from the Bennett area, and I think in a couple of weeks, that Mayfly project, they only tie once a month. So in June, I'll have to find a date. but it's gonna be a couple that are gonna be talking about Euro nymphing, and they're gonna be teaching you the knots and all that. So it should be kind of a neat little uh kind of class for that. I'm just gonna use this thing. Hopefully, just so you could kind of say this is a hook eye.
The tippet ring you're showing us there?
Yeah, this is I'm trying to make it so you could see
Right, right.
what a hook eye would look like. I want this to be big so you guys could see that. Open up this jaw a little bit. Because I want you to be able to see that. Okay, so I have that there because I want you to. This picture of that was an actual more of this pink line because that shows up real good. This is the knot that I use solely when time flies onto my line. And it's called the Davy knot and the double Davy. If you have, I'm saying at least, I could double check. I've got 4 pound, I think. Yeah, I do have 4 pounds. So we'll do a test on it. I know when I use 2 pound test, or which is 7X tippet, you do need to do a Davy knot because it will slip on you. And so basically you put it through and then you come back with your tag end. You go over once through, go through the bottom and through the center. And if you cinch right there, that is called the Davy knot. And that is a very small knot. So if you have dry flies, very small, it doesn't make a big difference, but it locks in really good. If you have thick line, this is perfect. If you have a smaller line, it's very similar. It's just one extra loop, and I'll do that. And this is what I use because I'll go over some of the clinch knots and everything, but for me while fishing, so from the bottom, I'm gonna try to move this to the side. Maybe bring this down a little bit so you can see a little better. So, I'm gonna come across the top and then through the center hole, through the bottom, and then through. Now, if I cinched on this would be the Davy knot. You go over the top and through the center again and cinch. There's your double Davy. And this is what I have to use when I use a 2 pound tippet or 7X. This is what I do because I'll try it with the 4, see if I could get it to pull, but I know for a fact 2 pound will. So let me get a quick hook. Something here. Actually, I will use my gurgler from a couple weeks ago. So, John, you should recognize this thing. So hopefully you can see there's the hook eye. And now this is just for fun to see if a single Davy will work on, this would be 6X or 5X tippet. Okay, let's give this a try. Again, Walt showed me this knot. I love it. Start working. Got the biggest hook eye in the world and I can't do it. So I will go over the bottom, through the center, over the top, through the center. Let it. This is the Davy. So here we go. 4 pound test. And it broke. So it didn't pull through. It broke. So at 6X tippet, you could use a single Davy. but I'm gonna redo the other end just to kind of show you what I like about this, that it's this kind of helps me save tippet too, because if you're changing flies a lot, you go through your tippet and then you'll have to use that bloodline or blood knot that I showed you. Okay, so before I cinch on this, what I like about it the most is you could see there's a tag end right there. I'm going to hold that as close as I can to that hook eye. And as you see, it gets closer to the hook eye, where if you keep on going, I've got just the tiniest bit of a tag end where you can kind of see right there. So when you tie this off, you're not going to eat up a lot of your tippet. And if you look at the knot, it's a very small knot on that, but it holds the whole pull tank. So not a lot of material there. It's very small, so it's not going to show up on smaller flies. Something this big, it doesn't matter, but you know, maybe on a smaller dry fly, 20, size 20, you might want a smaller knot. So there you go on that. So anyone want to see any other knots, or do they want to show one that they like, or tell me and maybe I could tie it up real quick?
I was gonna mention something I'd heard a lot about. I've always used a double surgeon's knot doing my tippet, my tippet to my leader.
Okay.
But I've moved into and I've done more lately. Of course, I haven't done much fishing lately, but what little stuff I've been doing, I went to a triple surgeon's knot, and I can't tell much difference. I've always caught fish on and never had one break on a double surgeon's knot. But one of the things that I picked up on twice through different podcasts, to do a hopper dropper setup would be do a triple surgeon's knot and leave. So say like you have let's say you have a 5X leader, tapered leader down to 5X, and then you want to go to let's say you want to go down to a 6X. It doesn't matter. You could still use 5X and make it work. But you do a triple surgeon's knot, and on your tag end that would be off of your leader, you leave it a little extra long, and then trim off the other tag end, and then you can tie. What you have is one line like this. You have your tag end up here. You tie your dry fly to that, and that double Davy loop that you were saying would work really good on that, because you're only going to have about, for me, the last time I did it, I had about 7 or 8 inches. And so by the time I do my double clinch knot and pull my line through and everything, I've used up, probably 2 inches of that.
Yeah.
But that can be your hop part, your top part, your hopper part, your whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
For your point fly, you tip it, then you can tie that on. And what little I've played with it, it gives it that dry fly. It's a little looser, so it gives it that little bit more of a as the hopper as the point fly is dragging under the water. It actually gives that that dry fly, whatever you're using, a little bit more less drag or action, because your drag's down on the nymph.
Yeah.
And I've done that a few times, and I've had pretty good success with it. But that's my favorite way to do a hopper dropper versus trying to tie it on the end of the hook and that kind of stuff. Because if you don't like your fly that you have on, say you chose a dry fly and you've got a pretty heavy nymph on and it's sinking it, and you go, well, I really want to use that nymph. I want to change out to a bigger dry fly, say like a chubby Chernobyl, something that's going to float a little bit thicker. You have all you gotta do is take your top fly off, retie it on, and you don't have to redo anything. It's all set up.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm trying to picture that in my head, and I can't wrap around it, because I could kind of picture, if you just left on the hopper part a long tag and then tied to that. That's where I thought you were going.
Here, I'll tie it up here.
Okay. Much appreciated, because
I got some old fly line here I've been tinkering with knots with, and it's bright yellow so everybody can see it. It's not dual color, but I'll do my best here. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna pin myself so I can see what I'm doing here.
Yeah, that's what I'm spotlighting you.
There we go. All right. So we're gonna do a double surgeon's knot. So we need, say this is your, need another piece here. So let's pretend, see if I can color this a little bit. I don't know if that's going to be enough or not. So let's just say this is your tippet or your leader that you've got on your, this is fly line, but let's just pretend this is a tippet. And you want to put another piece of tippet on for your, for your dropper, for your point fly. Well, you do a triple surgeon's knot. So you take two pieces of line together like this, one crosses the other, and you fold it around like this, grab it with your thumb and forefinger like this. So I'll do that again. I got in front of the camera. Do a little loop like that. And then you've got your loop here. So then you take this is your tippet line or your leader line. So I'll hold that up there. And you want to take your line, and I'm right-handed, so camera's kind of messed me up. So for a triple surgeon's knot, you narrow up the loop a little bit. And what I like to do is grab my index finger and thumb again here and hold it like that. Then I pull it through. So there's one. And there's two. Now, if you just want to do a triple surgeons or double surgeons, you can leave that. And I've had good success catching fish like that if you don't do a blood knot. But now the blood knot that Mick showed is a really easy way to do a blood knot, and blood knot's really a strong knot. But to finish this one, you do for triple surgeons, you just go around 3 times, and you could just trim that off. You could pull this. I don't know how good it's going to pull like this, but you just pull it straight like that, and there you go. So on your end that you have on the bottom that faces down like this, you trim that off. And this is the leader connected to our fly line. This is my hopper part here, and here's my dropper part.
I see that. That's cool. I could see that.
And the nice thing is when you've got your hopper up here, obviously on dry flies, you want no, you don't want any drag in your presentation, right? I mean, it's all about presentation. We always talk about that. But when you have your fly, your nymph down here floating around, and you have this thing here kind of holding it up, it's just kind of floating around on its own little spindle here. And the only drag it's really seeing is off of down here below. So it's not like drag from above. And as you're going down, you can see it. And, if you do get it, you get a strike, then you can set it. And by the time you set it, you're up here. So that, and then the beautiful thing about this type or this method is, I like my top fly. I don't like my bottom. I can change it out real quick. I like my, or vice versa. I don't like the top fly. I need to get something heavier, or maybe it's you got a mayfly on and you start seeing caddis. You can do that. You've got some optionalities with something that, Now the one thing about this is that you want to make sure you have a sufficient amount of length out here, because the way this is set up and tied, it actually keeps the fly out of it when you cast it. And I would have thought it would. I very few times I've had it tangle. Now, again, I'm not an expert on this particular one, but I've had good luck with it. But I've not had one like just get wrapped up and tangled on it. Where I've had a problem is if I've dropped my arm or my cast, and I've had my you want to cast with probably a little larger loop and not too tight of one. But where I usually have it is when I've dropped my arm or I've dropped back and I've crossed over, and I create more of a tailing loop. But that's just bad casting right there. So yeah, everybody does it. I do. I'm really good at trailing loops, because if you look at my leaders, sometimes I think that wind's really blowing, but it's not really the wind. It's just bad casting. That's what Lefty Cray says.
Yep.
So anyway, that's just something I thought when you were talking about knots, that I'd share on it. So
Yeah, I've got one that I
Very
could
good.
show. I like yours better, but I'll show you what I do. Let me get back to my other camera. Okay, let me move your spotlight and then put me on it so I could watch myself. Okay, so say that this is, just knotted, and I'm going to say that this is going to be what I like to do is a double nymph rig. So, if this is I have one, and then off this end, I'm just going to say is to my indicator. And so this might be, my white floss jig or something like that. But sometimes I want to add a second one. Usually when I do it, it's like either a size 18 or 20, and I'd like the black zebra midge. I'm going to say that this is the black zebra midge, just so you could see it. I'm going to let this drop for a second, but I pretend again, zebra midge, and then I'll have 2 feet of this line, and I'll wrap it up in around some foam, and then I just keep it like this. And if I want to add, again, this is, say, my original nymph, I want to add a dropper to that, I'll take this out. Again, it's all about 2 foot of tippet on that. And again, since I don't have my gear with me, we're going to call these tweezers my hemostats that I keep. Yep. So yeah, I left everything in Lebanon. So pretend these are hemostats, and I'm going to put a couple loops in there. You can see the loops showing up. And then this will be the hard part, because the hemostats will lock in. But I will grab the tag end with my fake hemostats and bring it through. Now you can see I got what looks like a cinch knot right there. So you can kind of see that. So what I will do then, again, I have my dropper down here. I will take my spot fly, and this could be really hard because this thing is a chunk with legs and everything, and I will actually cinch it onto, hopefully you can see that, the line itself. And again, this is way thicker than what I normally do. And then again, here's my original fly. Put back in this vise. And then here is my dropper that hangs off it, and it locks in. So now I'm about a foot behind it with this. Now, the cool thing, hopefully you already saw it, is, all right, I want to change my second dropper. I don't have to cut anything off. This will slide. And what I could then do is cut this off. Maybe I've got another fly. Ready. Sorry again for not being prepared. Thought I had. I'm working on my Terry flies, which I will talk later. So now I want to change my top one. Cut that off. I'm gonna call this, I'll show you that what I'm doing as well. Tie on my Terry fly with a quick Davy. It's gonna fight me. So I have too much going on. Jeez. Sorry about this. It's trying to juggle so many things at once. So, okay. So now this would be my new attractor pattern. I'll just put that right there. And then again, I would just, oops, spin this around. So this would still be to my rod, and I could put that down, and I still have my second dropper there. So I could change out my attractor pattern as well. So that's the way I've been doing it. That's worked, but then I've had some issues with it. I kind of saw what I'm playing with now, and luckily I have one. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'll zoom.
Why will you fish with two hooks?
With two,
Yeah.
it's a good attractor pattern where this is one that you guys know. Let me zoom on this. But I made it a little bit different. So let me put my backdrop so you guys could see it.
Oh no, is that a white jig thread?
White jig thread. But if you look at it, let me see if I could get this. It's got a tippet ring attached to it. And it's something I've been trying to wear because the beads were cutting my line when I was trying it. So the other ones, I don't have this. This is one of my prototypes. I have this now tippet ring more towards the base. Basically, I do the same thing now where I said I'll have this is a size 16, which is one of my favorite flies at Bennett, even though it's basic. It's, you know, it's a good, what they would call it, like a guide fly. It's going to catch fish. It's not pretty, but then I will tie one of my smaller nymphs underneath it, and I will kind of just show you size. I just hanging this off, but I do hopefully you can see that. That's just I think I actually made this a green zebra midge. I can see if I could get this to rotate or not. But yeah, so I have that. So that's, you know, but I would actually have this tied to the tippet ring, trailing about a foot, and basically leave. The reason why I like this is what I call an attractor pattern. You could put different colors, use, like, I could even put that Bennett blue tinsel on it if I wanted. And the trout will see something, they'll run up to it, and it might not be what they're interested in, but it was shiny enough that they wanted to look at it but not eat it. However, I'll have a smaller midge pattern that they would be interested, and that's dangling near it. So it's trying to get them a little bit closer, and then they see what they want and they would hit that. Does it work? It seems to, for me. I know people do it, and my hookups have gone up with that. The one thing I would caution with this is when you cast, you could get into a very quick tangle if you're not good. That's why when I do this, I only do the roll cast then. That way I just keep on flipping it out there. And when I've used this and just a roll cast, I've gone the whole day without tangling up. But you got to be very diligent with your roll cast with this. And usually I don't have an issue. So
Hey,
The original switch and bait, huh?
yeah, it is. And that's basically what it is. And you could put something shiny there, you know, you could do a copper john, you know, especially think about it this way. If the water is very fast moving and it's maybe a little cloudy, to use a copper john, those things sink faster than a rock. And if it's fast moving, you want to get it down quick. So you could do a copper john with this, it would get it down, and then you have that smaller nymph that finally gets down, because it would not get down if there was fast water. So now you get it into the strike zone quicker, and fish will maybe pick up on, you know, the murky water. They'll see the copper john, maybe not check in to see what it is, not interested, but then now they're close enough to see the black midge. That is something that they do want, and they nail it. So it's just trying to play the game.
Hey, Mick, what kind of ring do you have on that?
A tippet ring. I don't have the thing. Usually they come in, when you buy them, they come on this little leader, and you're like, wait, I didn't order this little leader. But as you can see, they're actually on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's, you know, basically for tippets. And I know I have right here a loop leader, but
So how do you put it on there?
a tippet ring, or
No,
how I do this
Yeah.
fly. Oh, do I have? I might have enough. Let me see if I can do it. So I have some stuff here, but maybe not everything. Let me see if I could tie that up real quick. I'm just trying to find. Yeah, I could tie that up real quick. Let me just get a hook up. Bear with me for another. Actually, I don't have white thread, so I'm going to make this a orange one. So let me drop this out. Sorry, I wasn't prepared to do this one, but it's still fun. Just put a bead on. That'll work. And a tippet ring. Bear with me another few seconds. So hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to do this in orange because I don't have white spooled up right now.
So what size hook is that?
It's a 16. You could do any size you want. I mean, you could probably 14, 12. I think 12 is the biggest I would use. So I'm going to just start. There. The tag. I'm going to go right about to the bend. And now I'm going to sneak that tippet ring in. And I'm just going to do figure eights around the bottom because I want to build that up and have it stand upright. And just keep on building it up. A couple of the figure eights, that locks it in. And now I'm going to just worry about kind of making an even body. My vise is getting a little loose here. There we go. See, there is. Yeah, did I take everything with me? I'm just gonna do a couple of half hitches then. So again, that's a small one. Again, this would be a good attractor pattern where it's cool. At least I left some Sally Hansen's here. So I'm wondering how much I took to the Lebanon place, and I just want to too much. Spread that out. My half hitch is coming apart. Normally I would whip finish that, but I think I loaded everything up and took it to Lebanon. So pretend that's a nice whip finish. And then again, you could kind of see the tippet ring. And then I attach a size 18 below that. So again, picture you got murky water and you want to get it down, something that like this will drop it. And then trout might see the orange and just kind of, let's take a look, see what's going on. Not interested in it, but then they see the smaller midget, they're looking for it, and then take that. And again, it's the whole nice thing about this, it drops that smaller midge down quicker and gets it into the zone that you're trying to fish a lot faster. So
What is the tippet ring attached to?
thread. Oh, let me see if I could. Let me get, because I was doing.
I mean, is it
Sure is.
attached to the
It's-
dropper or the other
It's
nymph, or
right
what?
there. You kind of barely see it, but the tippet ring. So this would be my was it my attractor thing.
The top-
So I
top-
would, this would go from the hook eye of this one would go to my indicator. And
Okay.
then I would then tie, like I was demonstrating where I have my midge tied to my 7X tippet, and I'd have like a 2 foot stretch, and that's where I kind of did the quick twirl, and I would then put it right. Actually, wouldn't I would just do a Davy knot right there. I was
Okay.
doing that other, and it was breaking off when I was showing that other thing here. So I wanted to see what would happen if I would put a tippet ring there, and it's been working. It's been kind of fun because then it's a quick Davy knot here, and if I want to change it, it could be changed out. But I was having issues because the reason why you would want this, and you're like, why not the maybe I'll go this way. I'll actually put it on the, if you could see, some people when they do a dropper, they tie to the bend of the hook, and all I use are barbless hooks. So if I try to tie that dropper pattern off this, it's going to slip right off. And so that's why I do it. Others that would, let me put another hook up here. Get rid of this. Some people, if they're going to do a dropper pattern like that, I'm just going to go opposite. What they would do is take their tippet. If I could find some. And tie to the bend of the hook. So again, I'm just going to do just so you can see real quick. Sorry, I'm doing this off camera, but gosh, struggling today. Okay, So if this was gonna be my dropper to the end of this, a lot of people will just kind of cinched it right there. And you can kind of see there where it locks in, and then you would, the worst scissors I got. So there they would then take this end, and hopefully you can see it. This is where they would put their second nymph on. But the cool thing with this, it holds on, and if it tries to come off, that barb holds it on. But I don't use barbed hook, so that's why I use that tippet ring.
Okay,
So it doesn't come off.
Could you put the tippet ring, tie it on where the loop is on the bottom of the hook?
Are you just saying like a different location for the tippet ring?
Well, if you put the tippet ring up,
Okay.
right?
I'll put that one back on.
Okay.
Focus. There we go.
And okay, the line is going through that, the whatever loop,
The hook eye, yeah, it goes from the hook eye to my rod, and
right.
yeah.
But
And then,
the other ring, that is where you put the dropper.
yes. So
wouldn't you do a figure eight where instead of it tying on the top of the hook, where it would tie on the bottom of the hook?
I was doing the figure eight, but I was actually tying it. I don't know if I could do it with this. I was tying it to the line like I was showing early, where you could slide it back and forth, but the line kept on snagging on either the hook eye or the bead. It's cutting my line. And so I can't do it on, let me see if I could go this way. I wasn't able to, I can't tie the second dropper off this because it'll slide off. Now, if I wanted, I could probably just make a big, bulge there, put a lot of thread there, and then tie it to the body. That might work. But with the tippet ring, these things were pretty cheap online that I found. These aren't the best ones, but they haven't broken, which some tippet rings you got to be careful with will actually cut your line instead of holding it on. So it's just something I tried. It's been working for me. I'll probably be using it this weekend. I know Frank will be out there, so if he's interested, I could show him. Again, I'll be out at Bennett this weekend. If you guys want to join me, I'll be out there. So that really ate up a lot of our time, so that's a good thing. I thought we would be short on time. Okay, so we got 5 minutes where I could get through stuff real quick. Let me see again. Fishing is going on. Water's getting warmer. We're in May and almost June now, so we'll have to pick some days to go fishing at Bush Wildlife or a local pond, because bluegill action and bass should be doing really well. So I haven't done that this year, and I really want to get out there. So that's fun out there. The trout parks are still going on. As I said, June 3rd, which is not this weekend, but the following weekend, Vets Fish Free. I think I've added some information on that. I will send out an invite, let people know that it's out there. But understand it's June 3rd. We'll be working with Dominic on this. So I won't have our little white canopy tent up there, but I'll have our sign. So we'll be at the big shelter with Dominic and several other veterans groups. So we're not going to be off to the side like we've done in the past. We're going to be working with Dominic now. So
Merrimack Springs.
Merrimack Spring. So right near your house. So you've got what, a 20-minute drive? A half-hour drive, Walt. So that should work. So outside of that, some of you guys, we still have to work on finishing off your rods. I don't know if anyone got those done while at Walt's. Lee, sorry I didn't get yours to you. I'll get with you soon.
he got his finished.
Okay,
Okay, we did use the other epoxy that I had bought,
okay.
but I did use, if you don't mind me talking,
I don't mind.
I did use the epoxy that you gave me here, the bad stuff.
Yeah,
We mixed it up real good with Bill Kelly,
yep.
and it's not really tacky. It's you could put another coat on it, and it thin coat, and it'll work just fine.
Yeah. I've used the same stuff before and never had an issue, and it dried bone dry. So I don't know if we got a bad batch.
Well, he
But-
says that's the only stuff he would use.
Yeah,
is
that's the only
that
stuff
went
I use.
bad.
Yeah. I love that brand. It's just we must have got a bad batch. So
Where did you get it at?
mud hole.
Okay, because I need to get some more.
Yeah, go to
Mick.
Amazon. There's places out there that do it, and they've got.
Could
the
you do me a
smaller
favor and
kits.
spotlight me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to check the focus. I've got a tie this week and I haven't had a camera out in 6 months. So,
That
What
looks
the heck
good.
is that? Are you drunk making that?
okay.
So is that this Thursday?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So are you doing this on Thursday?
Yeah, we're doing Mike has something he has to do. So I'll be hosting this week and I'll be introducing the concept of production fly tying.
Cool.
And I found it's the easiest way when you got to tie a bunch of flies up, is to
Yep.
do it in a sequence.
That works. And again, guys, if you go to the email that I didn't send out this week, but find any other one, at the very bottom, you will find where we have a Zoom call. It's right after the calendar at a glance. You got the Project Water Fly Fishing Omaha Zoom meeting. You got the meeting ID and passcode. I try to be on every Thursday. The plan is to be on this Thursday, but I'm driving down to Bennett that time too. So if I could sneak out of work early, I'll catch his time. If not, I might not make it in time. So
Disapprove, Mick. You can't go to Bennett if I can't get out this Thursday.
yeah, exactly. I need some Bennett time, So
Mike Kelly was out this past weekend. He got 20 crappie. I was at the graduation ceremony. So
yeah, I saw a cool video. I haven't tried it yet on how to whole fry panfish. So that'd be crappie and everything.
yeah.
I almost want to try. I want to go after them just because it looked really easy to clean and easy to cook up. So I want to give it a try.
Yeah, they're not too bad to fillet. And it's, once you get them filleted, it's a piece of cake.
Yeah. You just need a bunch of them because you get like
Yeah,
bite size and that's it. So
Unless you get some 8 and 9 inchers, and then you don't need that many.
yeah. So let's see.
I wanted to talk
I'd like
about-
to thank all the guys that came out this weekend.
Yep. Thank you, Walt, for hosting that.
Mhm.
Uh,
I would say thanks for that day because it helped me get through my son's anniversary.
yeah, I'm sorry for that, Lee.
But it was good to be with you guys.
Yeah, that helps. It's always good to be with friends and family. I saw that
Yep.
firsthand this weekend, but I'm glad we were able there to help you through that. Or the guys, I wasn't there, but that's what we do. If you guys need anyone, if you got a bad time, just give us a call. I'll make sure, I will send out an email and I'll put it to the 2 and not BCC. So you guys have everyone's email. And if you want to go fishing or anything, just, use that email list to see if anyone wants to join you. But yeah, for sure. If it gets bad out there, I know it all gets tough at times. Reach out. Someone's going to go fishing with you.
Mick, I've got an app that I've been working with a bunch of folks here in Omaha on. I will, I'm not sure that they're ready to send it out to other states yet, but I'll send you a link to the lady that's running the thing. It's just exactly that. If somebody is, and you get notified every day if you've got one of your group needs help. All they
Okay.
have to do is pick up their phone, start the app and say, yeah, I need help. And all of a sudden that goes out to everybody in the group. So
And we've had that in the past. It's This one was Amy was still the program lead.
Yeah,
And she got a call, and I remember she put out an email like, all right, guys, you know, this is all points bulletin. We got to get someone out fishing real quick. And we did, you know, it
yeah.
was, I mean, it was like last minute too. It's like, we're heading out there now. And I forgot how many people showed up. It was
Yep.
no less than 8, you know, you
Wow.
ring that bell and people were coming. I mean, it was, because even when, you know, I'm like, all alarm, she goes, all alarm, if you could make it. And I've got enough time at work. I'm like, you guys need me? And they're like, nope. I'm like, I'm leaving. So, you know,
Yeah.
we left.
And it's all hands on deck. It's all hands on deck, man.
Yep. Yeah, I walked out of work for that one. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have that. So that, thank you, John. And again, you know, reach out if, you know, we're gonna go fishing. So I'm kind of glad, you know, Frank said, I'm gonna be at Bennett this weekend too. And it's like, cool. So Frank and I'll be fishing together this weekend.
I'd like to get the Zoom link for John's Thursday meeting.
It's
They have given you a bad email address, John.
Okay, Lee, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna put my email address, I don't have the link handy with me. Let me put my email address in the chat.
I'm gonna do something in chat too, real quick.
Yeah, I know I had tried, and I guess I did it last time. The meeting ended before I was able to hit enter.
Okay, the meeting ID and passcode is there for John's. And it's the same time we do it, but on Thursdays. So it's from 6 to 7, same bat time, different bat channel.
Yep.
But there it
And
is.
the ID and the passcode never change.
Yep, just like ours, it's always going to be there.
Yep.
And
Thanks.
fly tying is good. You know, they do good, really good stuff. Since they fish, you know, different species out there, you're going to see different flies. So it's really neat to see something different. You've seen me tie a bunch of flies, and same with the other guys. Now you're going to, you know, watch someone else do it completely different. And it's, well, that was easier than what Mick does. Well, cool. You know, that's what I'm trying to, you know, we're all trying to do. So you will learn something coming to these. And it's just neat because, again, like, you know, Lise and Scott, you guys were out for the casting competition. You saw the different programs that are coming. And so that's available. It's, even though you might be part of St. Louis, you're also part of Omaha. You're part of Leavenworth. You're part of Bay Pines and Florida. You belong to them all. And so if you're ever out going to go fishing somewhere, you know, on travel somewhere, and you're like, I wonder if someone from Project Heating Waters is there. Yeah, because we have over 225 programs. So they're everywhere. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to go to California, yeah, they're out there. Especially Florida is its own region. That's, you know, how popular we are. So, you know, we're Heartland. Florida is its own region because there's so many out there.
I had a really good time with John out there at Bennett.
Yeah, you saw Bennett. So Springfield, we got Phil. Just started up Springfield Project Healing Waters. So he's going to be helping us big time when it comes to the casting competition for the regional. And as I said, you know, the big news coming up in the end of August. So 28th of August through 1st of September, Project Heating Water National Casting Competitions at Bennett. So again, if you enjoyed your time at Vets Fish Free when we had everyone there, we're going to have a duplicate, but now it's even to be different groups that I've never even met these people before because they're coming from different programs. So everyone from Heartland is welcome to show up. I will be there for sure. I already told my area I'm taking that entire week off, and probably a little bit more. I might be there a total of 10 days.
I'm coming down from Omaha, so
yeah, it's come on down if you can. It's Monday through Friday. You are welcome any time of the week. I forgot the dates that they're doing. I think they said
28 to the 1st.
Yeah, that's 20 through the 1st, but I think the casting competition is actually Thursday, maybe?
Thursday's a practice day, then Friday's the competition.
Friday's the competition. Okay.
Yeah, Monday's a travel day.
Okay.
I'm sorry, no.
So, yeah, the weekend's a travel day.
Yeah, Monday's a travel day. Tuesday, the 28th, you have to all be there by 6. I think that's the check-in date.
Yeah, that's a Monday. So,
Is that a Monday?
Saturday, Sunday are travel days because we actually have a program from Alaska showing up. So
Yeah, Monday.
they're-
So that'll make Tuesday the practice day, and Wednesday will be the competition, I think.
Okay, so Wednesday is the competition. We're actually going to have a fun thing. Maybe I think it's Thursday. If you want a real fun day, I think that's the day we're doing a float trip.
Yeah.
So
What month is this?
August.
August.
August 28th. So if you're like, I don't like the cold of Bennett, come during August because you're going to pray for that spring water because it gets hot and muggy.
Yeah, it does.
That's where you will actually see a lot of people wet wading at that time because the temperatures will get hot. So we'll kind of talk. We've started our safety briefings with waders. I learned my lesson big time last week with keep hydrated. You know, thankfully fishing isn't that rigorous, but you are moving, you're walking around, you're having a good time, you're not thinking about drinking your water. So that will probably be one that I will be in charge of because I failed at that on Thursday. So again, you know, a lot of these fanny packs and vests that we have, they actually now come with like water bottle holders. So that's something you want to make sure is you have that in there. We'll kind of go over that, but so yeah, that's that. And then the crazy thing after that, it's going to be back to back September 8th, which will be the following weekend, is Vets Fish Free at Montauk. And so if you're interested in going to Montauk, we'll go. Hopefully someone's good at that because I will tell you I'm awful at Montauk. As I joked earlier about James Bond, I think I've fished Montauk 4 times and I've James Bonded it 4 times. I've yet to catch a trout at Montauk, but I will be there. So a lot of things going on. So I want to get.
Nick.
Yep.
Was it Scott was talking about a city fishing trip at
Yes.
Union, Missouri event?
Yep. And I can't find my calendar. Scott, you there?
God,
Yeah, October 1st.
October 3rd. Okay. 1st. So I will add, I know I got my calendar.
Oh, not until October?
Yeah, not until October.
Oh, okay. I thought it was next week.
No. Yeah, this weekend there is nothing. Well, this weekend is Memorial Day, so it's a lot of people just fishing out there. You know, if you could get out there, Bennett, you know, I would stay away from the campground. Luckily, I will be, but it's kind of funny to people watch at that too, because you get the people that come out there once a year and make it entertaining for us to people watch. So it'll be a good time. And then, you know, like weather's getting a little bit warmer, so that cold stream feels good. But after that, it's, you know, June 3rd is Vets Fish Free at Merrimack. We'll be there for sure. Terry, I've got all my material here. I don't know if I'm coming on or not highlight, but I'm making you the kids flies. So
Thank
that
you.
was I will be doing that probably this weekend too, because even though I want to go fishing and all that, I just want to kind of hang around the house. And I'll show that fly next week where Terry's invited Margie and I a couple years in a row, and this time we're going to be out in Chicago, where it's if you want, I don't know if Terry, you know, wants to open up, but if you want to see something cool,
Oh, yeah.
here Marquette State Park in
June 10th.
near Grafton, Illinois.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Fa-
It's a
Family fishing fair.
family fishing fair. It's
Yeah.
for the kids, but it's for the family.
Yeah.
There's 40 something different booths there, and Terry runs the one for fly fishing, where we sit there and we tie up just fun safety pin flies for the kids to put in their hats. Illinois Department of Conservation gives the kids nice fishing hats, and we're the ones that provide them their good luck fly fishing fly on their hat. Kids have a blast. They're always looking for Terry. You're tying nonstop for hours, but laughing the whole time. It's, good time. They feed you and everything. And then you even get a chance to walk around because once the kids come to each of the tables, you hole punch whatever number you are. And I think after they get 10 punches, they get to go to the trout pool and they catch a trout. And then they take that over to Illinois Department of Conservation where they cook and clean it for them. And so we always have fun in that we tell them if they catch one, they got to come by. So the kids always come by sporting trout. And it's a nice little pool they do. It's a good time. It's a blast. Margie and I are disappointed we'll be out of town, but we're going to help Terry by tying up a bunch of flies so he doesn't get swamped because they get at least 300 kids come through, maybe 400. So it was
easily.
Terry, Margie, and I just nonstop cooking out these flies, for the kids.
And anybody who wants to volunteer, get a hold of me. I'll use them.
Yeah, it's a fun time. It is. Terry's got some pull, so he's got us under a nice shady tree, under a tent. So even though it's in June, we've got shade and everything, and it's nice. They provide a lunch, and some of the booths aren't as busy as we are, so they're quite kind, and they actually drop the lunch off to us. But it's a good time. I'm really going to miss it, and that's why I'm going to be tying up flies for Terry, so he's not just swamped. And so I'm going to get him out at least. My goal is 200 flies, so that'll start tomorrow.
How's Margie?
Margie's doing good. She's just tired, but thank you for asking. So she's
What
doing
happened
good.
to Margie?
She had that heart ablation. So yeah, we're done tying.
You guys have not had a good week, have you?
No, that's where I'm like, I can't find where it's to stop recording.
You need anything, Mick? I heard, just
Oh yeah. I'm just
call,
trying to,
drop a line.
there's a recording. Stop recording.